Hi, Rod Rohrich, Rohrich Knows Podcast. Well, we're back with Jane McGarry. She's the host of Good Morning Texas and so much more. So Jane, welcome.
Thank you. I'm so happy. I'm not used to being interviewed, so I'm a little nervous.
I know. You think she's nervous? I'm nervous interviewing Jane McGarry. Oh my goodness, she's interviewed presidents, all kinds of famous people, so it's unbelievable. And you do it so tastefully and tactfully. You put them at ease. So let's talk about some part of your career where you've interviewed President Bush and all kinds of other amazing people around the world. So tell us about some of that. So how do you prepare for interviewing somebody like a president or a very famous actor or actress? What do you prep?
Well, I think the thing you have to realize when you're in, like President Bush, is a great example. I'll never forget. Michael, my son, was in high school when the president asked me. I think there were 4 of us who he asked to come for a final exit week interview. The last week he was in office, so I was, that was like a big deal. So I spent probably 2 days of just solid research, looking up everything, reading everything, and then I would write out these long questions, and then I would shorten the questions, and then I would circle the answers. Well, the time came to do the interview, and we were at the White House. We were in the treaty room, and my son was there. And after the interview, my son said, "Mom, you didn't use all those questions and all that stuff you worked so hard on." That was the reason I had worked so hard. The secret to doing a good interview with someone like that is you got to realize, you have to respect that person's time. Their time is valuable. So you owe it to them to do your homework. But you need to know the subject so well that when you actually finally sit down to do the interview, you don't even look at the notes. You just remember all the stuff that you wanted to get in. The funny part of that was that, Mrs. Bush, Laura Bush,
who's great,
is very punctual. She is on time. And when the interview, if it was slated to go 15 minutes, it won't go 15:01. It will go 15 minutes. W, the former president, different story. So when that interview, we got off on something at the end. I don't even remember what, but I saw there were people outside waiting, and I saw people looking at their watches, when's he going to quit? And then he said, "Michael's over there, isn't he?" He knew my son. And I said, "Yeah." He said, "I'm going to take Michael in the Oval Office."
Oh, my goodness. That's awesome.
He stopped the cameras. He took Michael, and Michael's eyes were this big. We walked down the hall by the Rose Garden, went into the Oval Office. He remembered that Michael liked baseball.
Oh, my
he
God.
signed a baseball, gave it to Michael, and it was just, it was like Michael still talks about it. It was one of the highlights of his life. But I say that he's a really...
genuine.
He's a very genuine, very nice human being. No matter how you feel about him politically or whatever, he's a really good...
I agree.
He's got a good heart.
Yep. And his dad was great.
Yeah.
Too. No, I agree. So, okay, that's one. So what would be your most memorable interview? You've done thousands. So, and then I want to ask you a follow-up on what was the most astonishing one.
I think the most memorable one, honestly, was it was shortly after I came to Dallas. I was really young. I was like 28, 29. And there was a Methodist pastor at the time. I'm wondering if you're going to remember.
Oh, yes.
Walker Rayleigh was his name.
Yeah, he had an affair or something.
Well, his wife, Peggy, was found choked, not strangled, because strangled means you're dead, but she was found badly, badly choked, and he was suspected of doing it. Well, I had this photographer at the time, Bill Tippett was his name, and he was this big guy, and he'd been around forever, and he knew everybody in town, and he walks in one day. I'd been in here 6 months maybe. He says, "Jane, we worked together. We were the street reporters at night."
Oh, yeah.
So, So he said, "Jane, I think I got a good interview for you." So he got me the interview, the only interview with Walker Rayleigh.
Oh, you're kidding.
And I sat down, and the thing that was interesting about it is I'll never forget sitting there across from this man and thinking to myself that if he did it, what he had done. What it was just a really eerie feeling to sit there and think about what this person that you're sitting across from may have done. He wasn't convicted. I think he moved to California, and I don't know where he is now.
Yeah. Yeah, I do remember the case.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, that was pretty tantalizing.
Welcome to Dallas.
Welcome to Dallas. Okay. So what was your, most astonishing one? I mean, what would you say, I mean, or pick a celebrity that you thought just when you interviewed, you said, wow, I couldn't believe they said that or did that. What would you say?
That one's kind of hard. I mean, Troy Aikman, honestly, was Troy.
He's awesome.
Yeah, Troy is awesome. And Troy revealed, this was like 10 years ago, I guess. And Troy was very upfront with me about his personal life on camera. He was very upfront talking about his personal life, some of the things that had happened in his relationships. And that was a little surprising to me that he opened up that much. Pat Smith, the wife of Emmett Smith.
Yes.
Pat is super fun, hilarious, loved her. I don't know, let me think about this a little more as we go along.
That's good.
But there's something I want to touch on here, and that is that, so I came to you because I'm on TV every day.
Right.
and I think it's so funny to me right now, and maybe you can answer this question, but I have a lot of girls who are like, I don't know, 30, and they'll go, when should I start getting Botox?
You thought of it, now is the time. No.
And I say, I didn't get my first Botox until I was probably 50 or something like that. But the things that you and I have done over the past, it's probably been 20 years, Dr. Rohrich.
That's
15,
really?
20 years,
Wow.
yeah. I think have helped me a lot look nice, look my age, but also look my best that I could look. They've given me confidence because I always felt like I'll go to Dr. Rohrich and I'll feel a little bit better when I walk out of the office. And I've always appreciated that about you.
Yeah.
I mean, people ask me some of the things we've done, and I remember, I don't know, do people still do Ulthera?
Well, they don't anymore because it hurts so much. And it's still around, but it hurt. I know. I remember. I remember your response when you had it done. I know.
But I'm telling you, I don't think it was a bad thing that I did it.
No.
Because it does build collagen under, we did that. We started out with that.
We started, I think, at UT, right?
Yeah, went over to UT Southwestern, and I did that, and I remember just clinching. I'd have like 6 of those balls you clinch, and it'd be like, oh. But I think that was a good idea, and then we went from that. I did Botox. I did Botox and fillers.
Yeah, and then we started things like Morpheus, radiofrequency microneedling with David, my nurse practitioner,
which I love.
Who's talented. And
the Morpheus 8, I really, really like.
Yeah.
That has been like, because it was, so here's what happened. So I came to Dr. Rohrich all these different times, and I'm like, Dr. Rohrich, my jawline. You know what I mean. If you're a woman, you know exactly what I mean. I'd be like, my jawline. And he'd be like, Jane, I mean, really, the only thing, it would be a lower facelift. I'm like, So finally, you came to me 2 or 3 years ago.
Yep.
You said, I think I have got something for you. And I was like, really? And it was the Morpheus 8.
Yep.
And so I've done that 6 times, I don't know, times. And the difference it has made
it's great.
In my jawline and my neck is amazing to me.
Yep.
Just amazing. That's been phenomenal.
Yeah, it is a game-changing technology. Radiofrequency microneedling, and it tightens the skin. It induces new collagen formation in the deep dermis, and it's great. And you look good, and you have your own great skincare. Courtesy of David, my nurse practitioner, who's awesome.
Right.
And you love the skincare he recommends, and it's
right.
Great stuff.
I'll tell you something else I think makes a difference, and I know you're a healthy eater.
I try to be.
I truly believe clean eating makes a huge amount of difference in your skin. You're a scientist, is that true?
Yeah, it is. That, I think, and intermittent fasting has been really great post-COVID. It's been good to do that, I think.
Because the cleaner I eat, if I don't drink alcohol and I eat super clean, and like my daily, oh my gosh, it's like almonds and berries and kale salad and maybe some lean chicken or whatever, but I avoid all the inflammatory stuff.
Right.
My skin looks better
the
more I eat like that. I think that makes a difference.
Oh, yeah, it does. And also, if you eat badly, you feel badly.
Oh,
you feel badly. I mean, go home or even, I can hardly drink alcohol anymore. I just can't do it, Charles. I just.
The next morning, I mean,
know.
I could have one drink,
Yeah, can't do it.
one little bit of gin like this or something, and the next morning I can feel it.
I know.
Just-
Same here. And of course I love Scotch, and I really do a lot of. I collect Scotch. I do collect things, but I don't drink.
I didn't
them.
know that.
Oh yes, you'll see when at our holiday party. But no, it's good. But it keeps you vibrant. But no. So let's get back to some of
Okay.
these interviews. Of course, and I agree. Looking good and being good because when you're interviewing all these incredible celebrities. But haven't you also found that, when I meet celebrities when they're my patients, the good ones are really real, and then the ones that aren't so
Yeah.
good are really need a lot more help than plastic surgery sometimes. And that to me is very revealing. And I'm not
Yeah.
going to mention names, but some of them are incredibly great people, and they go, wow. But many of them are so different than what they look like on social media.
Oh yeah.
And that's sometimes going,
Yeah, no, absolutely. But you're right. I'm thinking like Eva Longoria, for instance. I interviewed her not too long ago. One of the sweetest, nicest, most considerate people I have been around. Just was really gracious to everybody on the crew. Who else have I interviewed recently? John Hamm was a little bit. He was hard to get close to.
Yeah.
He was, somebody who really came across as very vulnerable and maybe a little conflicted, but very vulnerable in a good way. I liked him. Was John Travolta.
really?
Yeah, he came across as very
Down to earth?
genuine.
Really?
Genuine, and like I said, maybe a little bit of conflict, but very genuine.
Interesting.
He was really, really nice.
Yeah. He's a multi-talented actor.
Oh, he's been through so much.
Yeah, and he's an actor, pilot. He's lost his wife. It's pretty amazing. And then Pulp Fiction. All these incredible films he's been in.
Yeah.
What do you? So what do you take home from doing? What have you learned from these interviews? You obviously do these interviews, but what have you learned from interviewing all these famous people? And in the end, what really matters when you walk out of the interview sometimes, or just like when I operated on one of these famous people, and I go, they're no different than anybody else.
They aren't. And the most confident among them are the ones who are the most grounded, who
100%.
are the nicest, but I think to myself, when you think, okay, what really matters in life? Well, maybe you should just, enjoy your life and enjoy the moment and all that. But the people I've interviewed who I have the most respect for can't let it go at that, because I think every one of them has had a mission that they felt like was important to accomplish with their lives. And maybe they didn't want to always be doing what they were doing. Maybe they would have rather just been out playing golf or whatever.
Right.
But they felt like their lives mattered. They were put here for a purpose. And so they had that mission about them. This morning I was talking to Cent Marshall, who is the first black female CEO of an NBA team. I'm trying to remember. And
Wow.
she's the first black female CEO of an NBA team. And she is one of the nicest, funniest, most down-to-earth people, and she's running with Cuban all the time. Cent has, I'm sure, so much money, so many connections, everything like that, but just one of the nicest people I've ever met.
Yeah. So, are you a Swiftie? Taylor Swiftie? Okay. As we close, we're going to talk a little bit about Taylor Swiftie. So, are you a Taylor Swift fan? All my staff is, and I've kind of learned to follow her a little bit. So.
You know what? I'm not as much. Okay, I have to admit, her music is not really like.
It comes from her heart.
I know.
And
okay.
her past experiences, I guess.
Yeah, no, and here's what I think women love about her, and this is what I like about her a lot. Her music is not. I actually kind of like neo soul,
Yeah.
little hip hop, that kind of stuff, but. I think what resonates with women about her is that she has chronicled everything she's been through, and she has come out on top.
Yep.
I mean, the fact that she fought the record companies and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it goes back to what you and I were talking about in our earlier podcast, where in a lot of ways, men have had it easier. Men have had more control of things. Men have been able to age better, all that kind of stuff. So to see a woman like her stand up for herself and still be feminine and fun.
Yeah.
That's what's cool about her.
Yeah, no, I agree. I must say, I respect that. And she's tough. She's smart.
Yeah.
She says what she thinks and thinks what she says. And, you know, she's brilliant. And you're right, she took on the record labels. She's actually stood up for singers and actually writers and really helped them, like on Spotify, and changed that whole world. And I think I respect her for that. And she's very talented. I mean, I know whether you like her or not. It's like, you know, whether you like Tom Brady or not. I mean,
right.
You know, they're winners, and she's a winner. I think she's tough. I think she'd be a great interview, but she's tough. I think she would be.
Do you have an in?
No. Oh, yeah. My staff said, oh yeah, a couple of my staff have been to see Taylor Swift, and apparently her concerts are phenomenal. I mean, they look phenomenal.
Oh.
I mean, 3 hours.
It's incredible what she does. And I guess she got on the treadmill and sang all the songs while she was on the treadmill, because you look at someone like that and you're like, how do you do that?
Day in and
how do
day
you
out.
do that?
Yep. Oh, I know.
Perform like that. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah. No, and she's good. Performing in the rain. I think she did in Boston, 3 hours
Yeah.
in the rain. It's pretty amazing. You know, I mean, it's just, you know, she's purpose-driven, loves what she does, just like Jane McGarry. So it's great having you, and got a lot of wisdom from Jane McGarry. Please follow her on all social media. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Bye.